Hola Madridistas, welcome to a calm and mundane La Liga preview after all of the craziness that happened this past week. This is a space where we can actually reflect, analyze, and just take it all in. But before we start reflecting, this episode is actually sponsored by none other than Manscaped, the people with the best in class male grooming products at sexy prices. Use code LBR20 for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And this is actually a great way to support the podcast and all of the fan camps that you guys have been seeing so far. And I'm joined today by tactical genius and aura merchant, Mr. Farooq himself. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, that was quite an introduction, tactical genius and oral merchant. Like those are everything that I am not. I am a lot of things, but those are two things that I am not. But yeah, thank you for the warm compliments. But yeah, man, it's it's the end of the week, so yeah, hoping to call it a day and have a resting weekend. A calm one against Granada to recharge the battery. As you said, it was really quite a draining week, especially for us fans of Real Madrid. We know what happened in the middle of the week and how we got the victory. So yeah, looking forward to something calm at the weekend and recharging the energy, the batteries, and regaining energy.
Yeah, man. Like every now and then, when I need a bit of energy, I just go to like a Barcelona subreddit or like a Barcelona blog, and I just drink in all the tears.
Yeah, that's one me, man. Honestly, that's one me to get that. Like, yeah, it's been a bleak season for them actually. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. More misery to them, and more, more success to us.
Okay. And yeah, so we have this game on the horizon, Granada tomorrow, who are for sure relegated. And so there's not going to be a lot of celebrations. I think it's going to be like distasteful to the fans, and hopefully the fans are just, out for the last few games, hoping to see a bit of La Liga before, they go down.
Yeah, that's very true. It's gonna be because I don't think it's possible for them to get anything out of the the season anymore. It's gonna be really difficult. They also lost the last game against Sevilla, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's just gonna be playing for pride and nothing extraordinary there. So yeah, let's see what comes into play, and they'll be looking to spoil the party as well. So let's see. It's going to be quite interesting to see how that pans out eventually. But yeah, like it's a Granada team that it's almost literally relegated basically. So yeah, it's a game that they literally have nothing to play for. We have nothing to play for. So yeah, we should just have a fun and free game. There is no pressure. There is nothing. But then on the other hand as well, it's a kind of bit of pressure for certain players, to kind of prove their mettle and show that okay, yeah, like we deserve a position, come the final at Wembley in June. So in some way there's still something to play for certain players as well. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure like all of our B team players, everyone who plays is gonna give it their all, especially the likes of Fran Garcia, Arda Güler, maybe even Ceballos. He's probably looking to secure his spot for next season. Who else? Yeah, and the rest of them, permanently secured. Jose Luz, hopefully he can bang in some more goals.
Yeah, exactly, like Joselo has 9 league goals, looking to get the 10th one, which will be great. And I'll just add a name to the list of the names you just mentioned. I think also Fran Garcia will be looking to also like prove something that yeah, like okay, he has what it takes to go into next season. So because we have the chatter of Alfonso Davies, and definitely considering the goal he scored against us, he has just increased his value in front of Madrid fans, at least with that banger there. So like they said that yeah, like this is a fullback that could do this. Is someone that literally could do a lot of damage for us as well. So yeah, I think Fran will also be one player who might be looking to show something as well.
Yeah, a lot of people were calling Alfonso Davies' appearance as like, just an audition for us for next season. But, would you say if he had actually knocked us out, would that affect any of the dealings or signings?
No, I don't think so. I think if anything, it just only makes us want him even more. Like this is a player that for the big occasion, literally he comes to the White House and knocks out the white team. So this is the kind of player you want on your team. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, just coming back to the Granada game, you mentioned like both teams have nothing to play for, but I just feel like there's a phenomenon, where these already relegated teams, they just want to put out a good performance for their fans. So I fully expect them to, go out and give it their all as well because they don't have a lot of games left.
Yeah, I mean, Granada are not like mathematically relegated yet, but like it's gonna take a miracle for them,
Absolute
to
miracle, man.
survive.
I just don't see it coming.
So
I just
that's
looked, I checked out the last four
exactly.
games. Not happening.
And I mean that's the thing about this is that like when you rely on a lot on other teams, to start literally losing out, like it's crazy. Okay, you can rely, if it's like if they drop, points in one game or two games, but like you're looking at dropping point in literally almost every game before and you have to go perfect as well. So it's just uh yeah. So basically, they're kind of relegated, and it's as you said, it's balling out, trying to I don't know, show something to their fans, try to show their fans that, yeah, okay, like they'll be building stats now, and, we're starting our, new season now, and, we're trying to build towards, getting back directly into the league, at the first try. So, yeah, I honestly, I expect, to see a more interesting game rather than, what we're used to seeing with, when you go to the bottom teams where, like, they pack the balls and you just have to, wait for a mistake here and there. I'm expecting to see something a bit more open, maybe something a bit more expansive. Because also they might feel like like it's a B team of Real Madrid, although the Real Madrid B team is as good as a lot of starting 11 teams out there in the world. So they might feel like they might have a chance. It's now or never for them. So
Yeah,
yeah,
could be. And they have a lot of young players, especially Uruguayan players, in the form of Arezzo, Pelistri. Have you heard about Pelistri? He used to be a wonder kid rated on FIFA. I think back in FIFA 20.
yeah. Pelistri is from United actually. He's a Manchester United player.
Yeah.
That's where I know him from. Actually, I've never seen him play for Granada. Actually, but yeah, Pelistri I don't know if he's on loan or if they signed him permanently, but I know once upon a time he was on the books of Manchester United.
Mm. And of course, that's Vallejo, Jesus Vallejo as well, out on loan from us. He hasn't played at
Yeah,
all this season since I guess October or something. He's been perpetually injured. Doesn't look good for him. Like even if he comes back, it's going to be really hard to find a loan move for him.
definitely. I couldn't agree more. I definitely could not agree more. Like Jesus Vallejo, but we will always appreciate. If you remember, there was the Man City tie where he came on and gave a very good cameo, although it was just I think for a quarter of an hour or a half an hour. I'm not exactly sure. But I think other than that, I don't, remember anything of highlights, to talk about with his Vallejo. Basically, what you just mentioned now is what sums up our knowledge of him. Like he's not even been fit to be able to show us that he can do it or he cannot do it. It's not like he's a player that has been given chance and he has failed over and over. No, he's a player that just has not been available to even show us that okay, yeah, I am what a squad plays or I'm not. You understand? So yeah, it's just unfortunate. There's a player that had a lot of promise, a lot of talent, but unfortunately, it's just not worked out.
Yeah, speaking of another player, like something just came into mind. Like Almeria is in the relegation zone as well, bottom of the table. They're not getting out for sure. Arepas is playing for them. What do you think happens to him next season?
I think with the way the midfield is right now, I don't think there is a position for Sergio Arribas. I just don't see that happening. I don't think that's yeah, I don't think there is a position for him anymore. I think the thing is just to go to on a loan and like the likes that as they call it the Calvajal route. Like you go for a 2-year loan and see what happens down the line, or maybe even they sell him out out straight right now. But I just don't see a path for Arribas into this team.
Yeah, even Nico Pass, I haven't seen him like at least for the last 3 months. He used to be in and out of the team, kind of at least on the bench. Not even there.
Yeah, I just don't. Honestly, Jacob, I just don't see the path for the youth players right now into this team. The point is you're talking about adding a player like Kylian Mbappe. I mean, maybe not. We don't know, but most likely this is what it's pointing towards. The merry-go-round is starting again, and then you already have a player like Hendrick coming in again. That's someone you consider a youngster. So if there's a youngster that's down the pipeline, it's Hendrick. You understand? And even though we were discussing about the fact that okay, what happens to Silva? When you already have this commitment to all these attackers, and then midfield is arguably the most stacked place we have. People look at okay, I most likely look at Modric will leave, but if Modric leaves, like it doesn't change anything because like it's not like you have a player like Kamavinga who's literally waiting there for shit to happen, and then you look again at this and you feel like okay, you look at Kamavinga, you take that away, and you look at okay, like Arda Güler is someone who is being touted to be a replacement for Jude as well, to sub Jude here and there. So it now becomes a question of like where do you eventually put these players on or lack thereof. But and the good thing about this is I like when it comes to like balancing the books, like there's no better player to sell than a homegrown player. So like players like Nico Paz and Arribas are players that can possibly, add value to the to the finances, of the club. But I think definitely, if not both, at least one of them will have to go out, and then the other one will just be an outsider looking in. Because, like as you mentioned earlier, like we have a player called Dani Ceballos as well. We don't know what's going to happen to him. Of course, like this year he hasn't, reached to the level that he could reach. I always feel like he's a handy squad player to have, as we've seen in the previous years. Just this year, he hasn't reached that level yet. So that's kind of be interesting. Like there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. So I feel like these youngsters are literally at the very very bottom of the food chain. Like they're like I don't even want to say scavengers who feed on leftovers, man. Like it's like the leftover of leftovers.
Left over. And meanwhile, we're trying to sign, more wonder kids from South America, Mastuando.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Like meanwhile, you're looking towards other players and stuff like that. So it's not. Yeah, it doesn't look too good for these players, but that's how it goes, man. Like that's the thing. Like that's how the team is. Like the team, the Real Madrid has never been a team that it's used for as a breeding ground for youngsters. Like you're good enough to play, you come on. Like age is really not a factor. That's just a thing.
Absolutely. Sunil is in the chat. He says, Joselu Balandoro.
But yeah, we've seen the chant Ballon d'Or, Osilu Ballon d'Or. Yeah, man, why not? Why not? For Wednesday night, definitely Joselu was the Ballon d'Or indeed. Like he was the man that I know I have criticized him, but he came in handy. He came in clutch when it mattered the most, and it just goes to show again, the Real Madrid team, it doesn't matter who comes and puts on this white shirt. Like honestly, like when the moment comes when it matters the most, they show up.
Yeah.
They show up, man. Honestly, and I think you just have to again, like I would just again like to highlight the name Nacho as well because I remember, if you remember, Lord Jacob, we were really, bothered about how is Nacho going to fare up against, when we were playing the quarterfinals and the semifinals, and you look at those 4 games, and I would say maybe he was even, if not better, he was as good as Tony Rudiger in all 4 games.
Yeah.
You understand? And we are talking about games against Harry Kane and Erling Haaland, arguably the 2 best out-and-out number 9s in world football right now. So it takes a lot, and honestly, you just have to shout this people out. And I think that's the thing, with this thing is that the role players, came in clutch. Lucas Vasquez did the job, you look at Andre Lunin, he did the job. Nacho did the job, so Brahim Diaz did the job. And of course, the king of it all, Osilu, literally, took us from, the man was at the Paris final, Mo was mentioning that he was posting stories of Osilu wearing a Carlisle shirt, at Parc de France in 2022. And here is Osilu literally dragging us to Wembley for the first time, so yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, man. I saw a tweet like going back even before that. So in 2012, he went on Twitter and asked if there was if anyone could share an illegal link towards Real Madrid.
Yeah, I also saw that actually. I saw a piece on the Athletic, about him, and I actually saw the link to the tweet as well that he was asking. It was when he moved to Offenheim, actually. He was
Yeah.
asking for a link towards Real Madrid. That's the thing, man. Like and this is the stuff that's these are dreams come true. Like this is a person who is definitely a genuine fan. Like someone whose dreams have literally come true. So yeah, I think honestly, like credit to the role players. I think we cannot overstate how they have contributed to the road to this final, honestly, both in the UCL and the league as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess this is like a good segue before we actually head out and preview the lineups. Let's hear a word from our sponsor, from Doris.
Well, I'm ready. The summer's coming up, and I just wanted to remind you that we partnered up with Manscaped. So go to manscaped.com, use code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's code LBR20 at manscaped.com. And just to remind you about the things that they do have on their website that you can use our code on, you can get the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It features a spotlight, a very bright spotlight. Is waterproof, super safe, skin safe technology. You can use it in the shower. There's no way of you cutting yourself. If you get the full package, the 5.0 Ultra package, you also get a nose and ear trimmer, ball deodorant, aftershave, baggies, a cool newspaper, boxers, a bunch of extra equipment. So if you want to maybe get the whole package, but you have a whole variety of products on their website that you can use the code on LBR20. They got mats for shaving, they got shears like scissors, clippers, boxers, clothes, creams, aftershaves, whatever you want, whatever you need, they got it. Also the beard Pedro, a very high quality trimmer for your beard, a bunch of things. So go to manscaped.com, use code LBR20 at checkout to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's code LBR20 for 20% off and free shipping. Back to the video. Thank you.
Yeah, we're back on the air. Let's go to the lineups quickly. Yeah, I guess the major talking point starts with the goalkeeper, right? Carlo was asked. Yeah, it's pretty clear he's gonna start Courtois in a lot of these La Liga games, and then come the final, I think mostly he's gonna stick with Lunin, just from the press conference that he had.
I'm not too sure about that, man. I'm not too sure about that. I think the reason why they're starting Courtois in all these games is to, see where Courtois is going to be at to come the final. As you said, it's 1 month, it's 4 ties. It's literally 4 games, which is a month. So I feel like this, is something that will literally be left to the last weekend of May to decide who's going to start the final. You understand?
But I think as
And
of today, like just looking at his quote, he said, I have to start Courtois in a lot of games because he's, the best player in the world, the best goalkeeper in the world, can't be benched. At the same time, I still need to keep Lunin fresh. That kind of indicates that he's planning to start Lunin in the final.
yeah, I think so. But as I said again, I'm reiterating myself. I think this is something that they're just keeping their options open. I feel like even now, I'm not sure if they had made the decision about that, but I feel like they're keeping their options open because they know that if Thibaut is, back to 90% of what he was in the past, I think they're starting because like the margins are just that much. Like Thibaut and Lunin has been good. Credit where it's due. But there's a difference between good and world best. There is a huge difference between that. So I think even 90% of Thibaut is better than 110% of Looney, not even 100%. So that's the thing there. So I think it's something that's going to be left because I just feel like, okay, they want to give him to full fitness. But we already know that Thibaut is not going to the Euros. So fitness for what?
Yeah, that's true.
Right, literally you have the preseason, you have the summer to get back into whatever it is. So I'm not too sure, but I just feel like, but this is my own gut feeling. Of course we can be right or wrong, and even after the post match of the semifinals as well, we had this discussion, debate along with Sneijden about the fact about that Lunin brought us here, so he deserves to stay here. But this is competition, like it's just based on merit. Whoever is the best goes in. So it's not about like you brought us here or you left us there. Now
Yeah,
just
like
who,
I think we'll be like kicking ourselves if something happens in the final and then it's because of a goalkeeping error, and we just can't leave that to chance.
That's the point. Like, personally, I'm ready to live with it. Like, if Thibaut starts and an error happens, I'm personally, because like it's a high risk, high reward situation, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's a high risk, high reward situation. So yeah, that's my own personal view, but I just think like we still just have to wait and see. The next weeks will tell us. The game like the Villarreal, game and stuff like that, we will get more insight into what to expect. Because I think after this we play Alaves and then Villarreal, if I'm not mistaken, and then we go to the last game of the season, which is at Betis. So I think most likely going into that game, we will know. As also like Javier was saying, I also share a sentiment that whoever starts the Betis game, which is the last game of the season, I think will be the person who starts the final.
Okay. Yeah, something to watch out for. Like I think
Exactly.
someone also in the same situation as Militao. He honestly feels a lot more rustier than what we saw from Courtois in the last game. So he has like way less chances of actually starting or playing an important role. But do you think if he shows a really good form in these 4 games, he has a chance in the final?
Honestly, I also thought about this today, actually. I don't know why it just popped up to my mind. I think I was reading something about Tivo or some shit like that. But I kind of feel like Nacho has been the man. He has shown that he is good enough to step into that. And I feel like the situation is different with the goalkeepers and the defenders. Because, like, the goalkeeper, okay, it's someone who has to stay in the post. Of course, a goalkeeping error is more fatal because, like, a goalkeeping error means it's a goal already, anyways, you understand? But I kind of feel like you need the mobile, and agile players. And when you're coming back from not playing, I think for how many months? 7 months or something like that. It takes a toll on that ability to move or not move. So I'm not too sure about this, honestly, because I feel like there are different situations with the keepers and the defenders. But for now, I would say let let Nacho continue. But again, we can see as the games develop, we can see what Militao shows or doesn't show. And based on that, I think it will be better to have this conversation again, as I said, like towards the Villarreal game. It's 2 games in. You've seen how they play against Granada and Alaves, and you can see, what level they are like or what level they aren't at. So yeah, that could be.
Absolutely. Sunil's in the chat. He says, even Saint Iker said, Lunin deserves to prove himself in Champions League final. Yeah, and Ancelotti had something to say about it as well. Like, he knows that Iker is an absolute legend, but at the same time, it's his decision to make, and he can probably make it at the end of May.
Exactly.
Right, man. I guess let's go into the lineup. So it's Courtois starting for you. No chance of Kepa, yeah?
Nah, I think Kepa's deal is done, man. Kepa is just waiting for a flight back. So, I mean, he's gonna go to Wembley and not come back, man. That's just it. Go to Wembley, just from there, move to Cobham directly, man. There is no return.
Yeah, looks like it. And in defense, it's going to be Lucas Vazquez, Militao, Nacho, and Fran. Do you see any difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. I don't see any difference. I think Nacho continues to anchor the back line alongside, the return at Militao, and Fran Garcia also gets a shot.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask you about the role of Arda Güler. Like, in the last, you've seen in the Real Sociedad game when we were actually chasing the game, he had to put in a lot of the yards. He was nowhere to be seen. Like, it was a really difficult game for him. He just couldn't keep up with the physicality. But against, who was it we played? Cadiz, he actually had some very decent touches at the edge of the box, and I feel like that's the area that he actually tries. I feel like it's going to be a very similar game at Granada, and hopefully, like, we see a lot of Arda Güler.
Yeah, but I don't know. So, okay, I had this theory in my mind. Jude Bellingham has 18 goals. And the Granada guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, has 20 goals. It's a 2-goal difference. So the question now becomes this, like, do you try to push for Jude winning the top scorer, or because he has played less games than the guy, so basically even if they finish on tie goals, like, he gets the trophy. Or I think they share it, I'm not sure, but he gets a trophy based on, having played less games. So I don't know. That's why I'm thinking about the Arda Güler thingy. Maybe it might be something on the back of the players and the coaching staff's mind. But then also you have a final, and Jude has been playing with injections. So I think maybe for this weekend Jude doesn't play. But I think maybe this might be something that might be on the lookout, because like Jude literally has been leading the scoring chart since the first week of the season, and all of a sudden I think either in Feb or something, or I think it was in Feb that they overtook him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe this might be something that might be on the back of their mind. Like, I mean, this guy has been there for literally 70% of the season, and he's still not gonna win this trophy. But yeah, it's not something important. It's just a small individual trophy. But I think it might be something. But yeah, concerned because we know that they said he's played, with injections, so maybe he might, might just stay there, that on the bench, or maybe not even be in the squad since it's a traveling squad. But I think midweek it's the title celebration. It's at home. Most likely he should be back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just feel like this game he might like get a substitute appearance, but I don't see a chance of him starting. Any of the starters who played against Bayern start. It was a very demanding game.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that as well. But I don't know. Let's see. Okay, if we go to the midfield, do you think we're gonna see the same midfield four of, or rather, is it a midfield? Yeah, it was a midfield four of Dani Ceballos, Luka Modric, Arda Güler, and Camavinga.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, definitely. I mean, already we know we throw Chinese out, so there's no even discussion about that. And yeah, Fede looked off color as well. At least from an offensive point of view, from a defensive point, also he did what he does. So yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, Fede in the Bayern game, like I feel like he was underrated. Like a lot of what he did went out of the radar. He actually stopped a lot of counterattacks just on his own with his running.
Yeah, that's it. Like from a defensive perspective, he was there. Just felt like I personally felt like those those incisive runs he makes offensively. Like we're liking. I think he had just one in the whole game, at least one that I can recall. I don't know
Yeah,
if there was
same.
another, but he has one that I can recall in my mind. So I don't know, maybe there were others. So I just felt like maybe that was lacking in that game. Could be, but yeah, of course, like the defensive end, the workaholic attitude was there definitely with Fede, and that's the thing with Fede. Like it's never 90%. It's always 110%. That's just it.
Absolutely. I guess that leaves us to the forwards, Brahim and Joselu. No changes there for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's the man of the moment, man. Like Jose Lumato is gonna get the baton again to lead the line, and hopefully he can get his 10th goal of the season, of the La Liga season rather. Maybe even get more. We never can tell, but yeah. I think it's him and another important piece of actually this gives me the vibes of 2016, 2017 where we had the B team.
Yeah,
We
Morata
had
and James, Isco. Yeah.
exactly Morata, James, Kovacic, Isco. Actually, Isco was part of the A team actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that season like Gardo was really injured a lot, so it was like it was Morata, it was James, it was Kovacic, it was the Nachos, even Lucas Vasquez. Like those were the guys of the B team actually, and that's good. Like again, you're back to that point where you have depth that you can literally almost swap out an entire 11. Not almost, you're basically swapping out an entire 11. So it's phenomenal actually, and that's why I mentioned at the beginning of the pod. Like the role players actually have been the MVPs, honestly. Like, that depth has literally helped a lot, because we had everyone firing at certain points. At the beginning it was Jude, intermediary it was, Rodrigo, and towards the end of the business end, it's like, Vinicius, and in between there, we also had like, a time where I think Osilo has scored 2 winners before he went the semi-final. I think he scored winners in 2 games or 3 games or something like that. And also like Brahim's job cannot be understated as also, or rather overstated. So yeah, it's been honestly, like this has been a team effort.
Yeah.
Like we talk about Ballon d'Ors and what is not, but when you look at like our season as a whole, it has honestly been a team effort.
100%, and this has been the game changer, man. Like you look at like what happened to Bayern. Like look at all their injuries. They just don't have a B team to actually go out and perform, but we do. And this B team is actually what enabled that victory.
Yep, true.
All right, I guess that's it for the lineups. Let's go straight to the predictions, man, and wrap this up.
Definitely, man. Definitely, yeah. So I'm gonna go again for another comfortable Real Madrid victory. I'm gonna go for something like a 3-1.
Joselu hat-trick, finally.
Yeah, Ashik wishes, man. Ashik wishes. Yeah, nah. I think it's gonna be something a bit more spread out, man. I think it's gonna be I don't know, a Diaz, Arda Güler, Luka Modric, Joselu, those guys. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's gonna be a hat trick from him.
You know what's not on
But
the
what a week it would be though.
Man, I was just
If he
thinking, like,
scores a hat
speaking of
trick,
Joselu
3
hat-trick,
goals.
if he scores the hat-trick in the UCL final, he's the top scorer in this season's Champions League.
Oh, really?
Yeah, over Mbappe.
Harry Kane has 8 goals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's right up there. He's right up there with Mbappe. Haaland has 6 or something, I think, and Joselu has 5. So if he scores 3, he's right up there at the top.
Wow. That's interesting. Imagine Joselu scoring in the Champions League final. Wow, that would be I mean, not even hat trick, man. Just imagine him scoring in the UCL final, man. That would be great, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something to tell our kids about. But yeah, man, for me, my prediction, my predictions, probably like a 2-0 easy victory. I think our defense has enough to do the job. Kamavinga's gonna have a masterclass, cut out every single pass. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting.
Well, let's see, man. Yes to that. Let's see. Let's hope for that, and let's see how the game goes. But I said, like, I'm expecting a very calm game. No no, tensions, no. But I know, yeah, Real Madrid likes to do it the difficulty, but I think, like, even for them, like, this game is just gonna come easy. Like, there's no way to make it complicated. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's not jinx it.
Yep, absolutely. With that, I guess let's wrap this up. Thanks for all of you guys who have been in the chat, Sydney and whatnot, and all of you guys on the audio platforms. Come over and keep us company in these dull, let's say duller previews, because we don't have a lot to play for, but we're still gonna be talking about Dortmund and the lead up to the final every single preview. So yeah, keep us company. Come over to the lives, watch Farouk's beautiful face, and check out our check out our Instagrams as well. We're gonna be posting the fan cams for the next game right before the celebration, so it's gonna be a wild ride. And go follow us on Instagram. Follow our partner over at Real Madrid Committee as well. They have an incredible Instagram channel. Last but not the least, guys, Manscaped has a lot of stuff, man. That's like shampoos, nail clippers, and stuff. That's like pretty cheap. Consider buying and actually supporting us. So I guess with that, Farooq, you know what to say.
Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.